My name is Beca Davies and I'm the Community Outreach Officer for the Pendinas project. I work for the Royal Commission on the Ancient and Historical Monuments of Wales, and I'm really happy to be here today chatting with you about the project. Like you've seen, we've done a lot of work with the excavations, but like Luke said, we've also done a lot of community outreach work as well. So to kick things off, we had a really nice launch back, I think this time last year, back in the hub in Penparque, where over 120 people attended from the local community. So, you know, right from the start, it's been really lovely to see so many locals come out to support us right from the get-go. And it was a bit of a baptism by fire for me because I'd never done any public speaking before. And this was 2 weeks after I started my job, so I was really it was so daunting, just turning up and speaking to people. But thankfully I made it through the night, and it was really, really nice. After then, the project launch, we started our first excavation. And like Luke said, the weather was absolutely crazy. I think we only had about 4 dry days out of a whole month. And honestly, I can't believe the volunteers kept on going, fair play to them. We had about 50 people volunteer over the course of the month, ranging from, I think, 9 years old to 75 years old. So we had a really broad age range, which was really lovely. And we also had people coming from the local area to excavate, but we also had people coming as far away as Chicago. So it's quite, Pendinas is global. We had as well over 304 visitors to the site, just, you know, pop up as we were digging just to see what was going on. So then I would sort of play the tour guide and take them around, talk about the excavation, the 1930s excavations, what was happening, and sort of ask Ken or Luke to explain things that I didn't understand about the actual excavation. It was really lovely to see a lot of local people coming up as well to have a look. And a lot of people had lived in the area but had never actually been up there and didn't even know it was an Iron Age Hillfort, so it was quite nice to be able to share that with them. As well as sort of people coming up on their own accord, I also organised a lot of guided tours. So I did a tour with the Beavers group, the local scouts group, and they were very lively. It was a lot of fun, but quite stressful as well. I also did a tour with the University of the Third Age, the Angylion y Wawr, and also a lot of tours with the Llwyn yr Eos local primary school, but I'll talk a bit about them in a few slides. I did as well a few talks, so I went out to people who couldn't really come up the Hillfort. So one group I did a show and tell session with, the HaHav. So HaHav is Hospice at Home Volunteering Centre, and I did a show and tell session with people living with dementia and their carers. And it was a really lovely day. I brought lots of pictures and we just spent the time sort of chatting about their memories, and it was nice to see what memories these pictures invoked because a lot of these people had lived in Penparque their whole lives. And another really fun talk that I did, I went to the Mothers Union in the local church and they just fed me tea and biscuits and it was really nice. We just chatted about a lot of their memories because a big part of this project is that we're working with the whole community. And a lot of the ladies who had grown up there had a lot of tall tales about what went on that Hillfort. One of my favourite ones was a lady said that her parents used to make her and her brothers run up the Hillfort on Christmas Day, run around the monument, make a wish, and then hopefully Santa will have brought their gifts. So it's just amazing to see what parents will do just to get some peace and quiet on Christmas Day. And then this is my favourite photo that we've taken of the whole excavation. I think it just shows that not much has really changed in like the last 90 years. There's a few more women in the picture, which is great, and the shovels are a bit shorter. But other than that, people are still interested in archaeology and want to take part in local excavations and learn more about their heritage. And as well as having a lot of fun on site, I think we've also created a very safe space for people to come as they are. We had a lot of people dealing with grieving, people who have anxiety and things like that. So I feel really proud that we've created a really nice space for people just to come as they are, not have to worry about, you know, what they're doing, and just spend some time with people who are interested in the same things and learning about their local ancient monument. Now then, the Llwyn yr Eos lot. 85 kids on a Hillfort on the windiest day in history. It was absolutely manic, but a lot of fun. So we took years 4, 5 and 6 up on the Hillfort. And on the way up, I sort of talked about the history and the archaeology of the site and local surrounding sites as well. And then we got them to sit down on the top and do some fun little sheets. So we got them to label Pendinas, the North Fort and the Southern Fort. And I also did like a pairing activities where we had stone tools and they got to match them with descriptions of the stone tools, and that was really good. And then I took them around the trenches and they spoke to the volunteers. They wanted to see real life archaeologists in action and they loved it. But then as soon as the volunteers mentioned the word slingshot, everyone went nuts, and the kids were sort of running around the site and trying to pick up stones, and they were asking me, "Oh, miss, I've got a slingshot." And I was like, yes. So a lot of the kids in Penparca have real life slingshots on their bedside tables. But yeah, it was just a really lovely day, fun to work with the kids, and the teachers were really thrilled to see how engaged they were, learning about their local monument. Now, following this tour, I thought it would be also a nice idea to do another tour with the same groups of children, but this time focusing on the ecology of Pendinas, because a big part of this project is to raise awareness of the local ecology and to encourage future generations to, take pride in it and also want to protect it in the future. So with the help of local resident and local ecologist Chloe Griffiths, we created the Pendinas Eco Walk. And for this, we created the Pendinas Bingo. So it's just a bingo sheet with all the sort of wildlife, plants and animals that can be seen on Pendinas. And the idea was for the kids to sort of follow me around as I was speaking, and they'd sort of yell out bingo if they found anything, and they really enjoyed it. So the point of the walk was really to encourage the children to appreciate the monument as it is. It's not just, an Iron Age Hillfort, it's somewhere where, so many species of wildlife thrive up there. And it was really nice to see how much they sort of responded to that. And then following on, I went to do a really messy pottery workshop with the children as well a few weeks after to build on what we'd learnt on the day. So the idea was that the kids would create their own sort of Celtic shields or duck stamp pot that resembled the one that was found in the 1930s, and sort of decorate it with things that we'd seen on the walks or things that they'd seen on, on Pendinas. And it was really great. It was lovely to see, a lot of them remembered a lot of things. They had fox pots, they had granny pop out of bed flowers on the shields. And then this one girl did an elephant pot. So I've not seen an elephant up on Pendinas, but I am still on the lookout for it. But yeah, it was just really lovely to see the kids really thriving in their local environment and looking for these things that live on Pendinas. So after the madness and the messiness of the eco tour and pottery sessions, I thought it would be nice to do a eco tour for adults. So we created a tour, an accessible tour. The first one was an accessible one on the lower pathway of Pendinas. And we had about 16 people from all sort of levels of mobility come and meet with us. And basically, Chloe, then the local ecologist, she took them and we took them together, but she'd sort of talk about all these amazing wildlife facts and sort of the behaviours of the ecology and the animals on Pendinas. And then I'd sort of chime in with my historical facts and the archaeology and everything. And, it was really, really successful. It was a very nice sunny day, so, everyone enjoys going out when it's nice. And a local lady came up to me afterwards. She was using walking sticks, and she said that she was really happy that we'd, organised something that was accessible on things that she enjoyed, like history and ecology. So that was really lovely. And then the night after then, I took a larger group of people with Richard Suggett on a walk across the middle pathway of Pendinas. I tried my hardest to remember all the amazing ecology facts that Chloe taught me, but I probably forgot loads of them, and sort of spoke about the history as well of local surrounding sites, like the old castle, the Aberystwyth Castle, the Tannerbulch mansion and everything. And then Richard Suggett gave a very short presentation on the lost farmhouse of Pendinas. So there was nestled in the hillside called Pantarallt, and it was demolished in the 1950s. But you can see the foundations, and a lot of slow worms and lizards live there now, so it's still a house, but just for different things. So yeah, it was just really great to see a lot of locals coming out to learn about the ecology of the site and really taking an interest. And my favourite thing was, on these talks, I don't like it when it's just me talking all the time because I feel like I rabbit on. But a lot of the people who were on the tours sort of shared their experiences and their stories, like growing up in the area. So it was really fun to sort of collect all of these memories that, you know, wouldn't be talked about otherwise unless we were doing things like this. And then we took Pendinas to Bodleian, to the National Eisteddfod. And here I did sort of a similar thing with the children. I did pottery sessions with them, talked about the Celts who lived on Pendinas, and the ecology, and they got to sort of decorate their own pots and, you know, have a lot of fun. And whilst they were doing that, I got to chat to their parents and invite them to upcoming events like the Pendinas Archaeology Day. I'm really happy to say as well that I actually saw a lot of families that I met in the Eisteddfod who had driven down to Aberystwyth for the Archaeology Day, so that was really lovely. So moving on then, we had our second excavation, which Luke has talked about. Again, we had around 50 volunteers, 13 to 75 years old. And like you can see from the photographs, the weather was crazy. So we had a heat wave at the start, and then we had gale force winds and loads of like torrential rain. And still the volunteers kept turning up every day to dig, so fair play to them, they're absolute heroes. And you can see Ken up there with the fallen tent looking very sad. But yeah, it was nice to welcome back some familiar faces, but also really good as well to get some newcomers up there. It was very, very fun. And here are some pictures from the Festival of Archaeology. So during the second excavation, on Saturday the 16th of September, we had an all-day festival held at the hub in Penparcau again. You can see Ben Lake, the MP, there in the middle. He kindly offered to open the ceremony for us, and I think he got a bit more than he bargained for, because Morgan of Mercia, the Celtic troubadour here, he got Ben Lake to carry the horn as he was playing it and sort of parade him around the hub. It was absolutely surreal, but really fun and very sort of atmospheric. We organised a few guided tours, so Toby Driver took a group up the Hillfort, and then I took a bilingual tour up the Hillfort as well. And then we sort of dumped them all on Luke so he could tell us exactly what was going on. Sorry, Luke. And it was just really fun. We had a lot of local heritage stalls in the hub. We had like Pas Cymru, the National Library, Ceredigon Archives, and also Dyfed Archaeological and Royal Commission stalls there as well. We had real-life Iron Age villagers from Castell Henllys sort of roaming around, bickering with the Roman soldier. And also they were doing slingshot practice, so the kids loved that as well. And in the afternoon, we had a lot of talks planned. So we had a question and answer session. Ken Murphy gave an update of the digs, and also Toby Driver sort of talked about the Romans on Pendinas and whether they were there or not. And to top it all off, you can see in the top corner over there, we had a Pendinas cake made in the shape of the Hillfort. It was absolutely delicious. I didn't want to cut into it though because it was so pretty. We also had loads of cupcakes, and we ordered too many, and I was eating cupcakes for breakfast, lunch and dinner for a few days afterwards. But yeah, we had a really lovely day. Over 500 people from all around the country came to visit us on that day and went up the Hillfort, so that was really brilliant. And I've got a snippet of the day in the next slide, along with a really lovely quote from Ben Lake. So a few weeks after the event, I came home and I had a letter from the House of Commons, and my immediate reaction was to panic because I thought, oh, what have I done? Why are they after me? But thankfully, it was a really nice letter from Ben Lake, just basically saying thank you so much for organising such a successful day, and also for letting him hold a Roman shield. He said it's an experience that he will never forget. So after that, we had, a few ideas to do some like creative workshops for the local people. So the first one was held at the Hub with local artist Charlotte Baxter. She's a lino print artist. And we used Pendinas as our muse, and we created all these lovely prints. And we also printed onto tote bags, so I've got a little personalised Pendinas tote bag to carry all my things in. And it was such a popular event. We actually had one again this March, just at the start. I think overall we've had about 25 people over the 2 sessions, and it was like a granddaughter duo, which is really sweet. And as you can see, the prints are really pretty, very sort of Pendinas themed. And on the other side of the screen, we had a mapping, so mapiwch eich atgofion, mapping your memories session of Pendinas. So a big part of the project, we feel, is to collect all these lovely memories from people who you wouldn't really learn about otherwise. And we had a Map Your Memories Day at the Hub, where over 15 local people came. We talked about maps, how they changed based on, the person who was making them. And then we all had a go at creating our very own personal Pendinas maps. And it was just lovely because Pendinas featured in all of them, but, they were all so different because it just showed exactly what was important to them and their memories. So some people put the church down as a really big part of their map, and then other people put the playing field, which they used to meet their friends in every day on the summer holidays. So just really lovely things. And just really nice to be able to collect all these memories. And another big part of the project is to do some vegetation clearance on Pendinas, because the acid grassland at the top is very, very rare, and it's being sort of encroached on by gorse and bracken, which just kills everything off. So that's a big part of the project that we had to deliver. And we did a really big session with the ACV Society from the Aberystwyth University, where they moved, in 4 hours, they moved 28 full dumpy bags of gorse, and it was absolutely incredible. It was a rubbish day as well. You couldn't really see like a few metres ahead of you, but they really smashed through it, fair play to them. Because of the time constraints, and it was quite hard, some of the areas were quite steep, we got local contractors in to do the work as well. And also the Ceredigion County Council came and gave us this weird robot that just mowed through all the bracken. And as you can see, that middle picture up there, it looks amazing. You can really clearly see the banks and ditches, the eastern terrace, and it just looks really sort of well maintained. And we've had a lot of people coming up to us and, commenting on our Facebook posts saying that this is the best they've seen Pendinas look in over 20 years. So it's really nice that we've been able to do such a big impact just with, clearing the gorse, and it's, had a really positive impact on the local community already. Recently, we've had a really successful cyfres o ddarlithoedd, a series of lectures, where we had 4 lectures over 6 weeks, and we had 4 different topics from Helen Palmer from the Ceredigion Archives, Martin Bates from University of Wales Trinity St David's, John Dollery about mapping from the Royal Commission, and then Toby Driver from the Royal Commission as well. They were really well attended. We had over 240 people attend over the 6 weeks, which was really good. We had some regulars as well that came every month a bit earlier than everyone else, nabbed the best seats and had a good old chat with some tea and biscuit before the talk started. And I actually think we might have a world record on our hands, because we had a 7-day-old baby attend one of the lectures. So they're starting them young in Penparcau, which is great to see. And yeah, at the end of it, I'm really sad it's finished, to be honest with you, because, you get used to seeing a lot of people every week. And a lot of the ladies and gentlemen that lived in Penparcau came up and talked to me afterwards and just basically said they're going to be a bit lost now in the next 2 weeks, not really knowing what to do with themselves on a Thursday night. So that was really lovely. And yeah, so we're nearly finished. We're finishing in August, but we've got a few more things to come as well. So a big part, a new project that we're working on is creating a Pendinas mural with the local children of Llwyn yr Eos. So I'm working with a local mural artist, Megan Eleanor Jones, And we're going in to see the kids just after Easter, and we're going to have a design day, and they're going to create all these fantastic designs, and we're going to incorporate it on a big wall outside the school and have a very unique mural of Pendinas, which will be fun. And like Luke said, we're working on a booklet, a publicly, freely available booklet about the project. We're in the middle of doing that now, so that should be available as well soon. And to top it all off, we're going to have another festival to sort of celebrate the community, celebrate the Hillfort, and celebrate the project. So that will be coming end of July, I think, so keep your eyes peeled. So yeah, and diolch yn fawr iawn am gwrando arna. Thank you so much for listening to me. And if you've got any questions or anything, please come and chat to me. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I'm excited to stop talking and listen to everyone else. So yeah, diolch yn fawr iawn. Diolch.